Hey folks, I'm here in Bombay, India. Believe it or not, I'm going to give a lesson on an old-time tune called Kitty Puss. Actually, this is kind of a companion lesson to that, and it's about how to learn tunes from YouTube. And so I learned this tune from a fiddler online named Vi Wickham just using YouTube. So actually this lesson is going to be more about just the process of how to do that with a YouTube video, so you can then, you can just learn things on your own, maybe a little bit more easily. So what I'm going to do is going to kind of switch between this view of me playing and a screencast, so you get the idea. So I'm going to switch to a screencast now. I'm going to start by just playing a little bit of the song. So to change the speed of the video, you would go down. You can see I've gone down to the lower right hand corner. There's a little setting symbol, and I've already changed it to 0.75. So you may want to start by hearing the tune at the normal speed. Pretty nice version of the tune, and I chose sort of a simpler tune just so you could see how it works. And so I'm going to pause the video. Now, when learning tunes, I encourage you to go into it slowly, and so what I'm going to do is go to the very beginning of the tune, and then I'm going to set the speed really slow to half speed, and just listen to the first few notes. So let's find the beginning of the tune. It's in the 30s somewhere. So right there, that might be enough. So I just take note of when it begins and place the cursor there, and then just kind of keep repeating on it until I can hear it in my head. I start to sing along with it. Da, na, 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 na. So I'm starting to hear it a little bit. Da, 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 da. Hear it again. Da, 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 da. And this is pretty much the whole process. I like to start with singing myself, but if you're really more comfortable with your instrument, maybe you'll start with playing. Da, 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 da. And so then when I start to hear it a little bit, then I'll pick up the fiddle and maybe play that a little bit, so I can sing it now. Da, 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 da. Now, you may be wondering, how do I find that first bit even? Maybe that's hard for you to hear, and that would be a really good question, probably that needs its own video. But something I talk about a lot is that anytime you learn a tune, especially if you have on FiddleHed where there's tabs and sheet music, and I tell you the scale, you really should play the scale first. And what that does is, when you go to learn a tune on YouTube or somewhere, maybe you're in a session, you're going to start to recognize what the scale is. So that's why I'm always saying at the beginning of all the tune lessons I do, warm up with the G major scale. This tune is in G major, so if you play if you've done that a lot and you practice that way, then you will probably be able to hear a lot of these, especially like old-time tunes. There's not too many weird keys they're in. G, D, and A mostly. So, but still, there's no formula for figuring it out. So it's just but if you do that practice, your ear will be more tuned, you'll be able to do it. So, and then once I think I've got that part, I'll play it again. And then what I like to do is just a process of checking, so I'll go back and listen and see if it's right, kind of like just verify that. I think it's right. So Now I'll move on to the next part. Let's hear it. Okay, and then the B part starts. So that's another thing you want to do is try to hear the form of the tune. Like, oh, this is the A part, this is the B part. I'm going to start the A part. I'm going to start with the first few notes, and then so hearing so that's why you want to listen to the whole thing a little bit. If you know the whole form, it'll give you like sort of a practice strategy for starting. You know, rather than just barreling through the whole thing, be able to kind of figure out, okay, I need to get this really well, and then I need to get that. So I'm just going to go through the process of getting the next part of the A part, and I think that'll conclude the lesson. So here's the first part. Again. Okay, so I think I hear it. And the B part in the video by Vi starts around 38. So again, just remembering that little detail. You might even want to write it down on like a notepad that you have handy or something. Will help you. It's not the most elegant way of looping, but there are, I'll talk about it in a second, there's online solutions for that too. So I'm having a little trouble here. So can you hear the train in the background? That's a train going by here in Bombay every 5 or 10 minutes. So I don't know, there might be something wrong with my internet, but that is the basic idea. Like, I would then do the whole process for the next part of the song, which was so I'd first sing it, and again I've noticed that there's a repeating pattern there. They both these phrases begin with da 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 da. So the first half will go, and then I noticed the second half begins the same way. So I've got a whole other lesson on that called repeating, how to recognize repeating patterns in tunes, and I'll put a link to that. So that's the whole process, and no matter how long the tune, you could slowly work through it. Maybe you don't do it in a whole day, maybe it takes you a week to learn a tune this way, or more. But if you really do it this way, you know, or learn from recordings, your ear is going to be much more developed, you know, so than just learning from tabs. I think it's always a good exercise. If you can find a simple enough tune to start, that might be the trick. Maybe I'll try to suggest some simple tunes in the notes on FiddleHed that you can try to do this with. Note to self. So yeah, there'll be some supplementary notes for this lesson on YouTube, and we're going to include that. Anyway, I think that's all I wanted to talk about with this, and I hope that was useful, and see you soon in some other part of the world. I'll probably be home again soon, and we'll be back to normal. Okay, so thanks for watching. See ya.
Go to FiddleHed.com for a progressive, step-by-step course outline, color-coded tabs, play-along tracks, sheet music, and much more. Thanks for watching the video. Excellent! And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.